Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Jailbait and Tackle Outdoors. Today, we're going to have another episode of Fish Talk. Today's fish topic is going to be the cobia fish, which is a really, really nice fish to catch. And what I'm going to do today is something a little bit different. I'm going to tell you the current regulations on this fish, and then we'll go on to talk about all the particulars about the fish. To harvest this fish in the state of Florida, the season at this time is open all year long. The minimum length, the size limit is 36 inches. They call it to the fork. So it's to the fork of the tail. So from the tip here to here has to be a minimum of 36 inches. And the daily recreational bag limit for the Atlantic and the Gulf are both the same. It's 1 per harvester, not to exceed 2 per vessel. So you could have 3 or 4 people on the boat, and you can only keep 2 for the vessel. So it's 1 per person if there's 2 people, and anything over 2 people, it's just 2 people for the boat if you're all in the same boat. All right, so let's get talking about this fish. I really like cobia. It's really good eating fish. It's not hard to catch them down here, but they're not like super common either at times. You definitely pretty much have to be offshore. You can catch them off some piers, but it's just not real common. But okay, so let's talk about the fish. The description. All right, in the water, cobia look very much like sharks. The usual color is brown or dark gray above, whitish on the underside with the dark stripe running from the gills to the base of the tail. The striped appearance is more vivid in juveniles. Several rather sharp finlets on the dorsal surface area extend from behind the head to the dorsal fin. I kind of got a little tongue-tied, but they're talking about that right there. I don't know how well you can see that. But so that's what they're talking about. So the size, common from 20 to 50 pounds, sometimes up to 80 pounds, and possibly to 100 pounds or more. The world record is 135 pounds, 9 ounces. The Florida record, 130 pounds, 1 ounces. So what I did not mention, when I started this video, I've mentioned in all the other fish talk videos, is this fish, this description, all this information comes from an older publication that's about 10 years old. It's called The Sport Fish of Florida. It's a part of the Florida Sportsman series, and the author was Vic Dunaway. He does an outstanding job. So when I'm telling you these records, they could be different after, like I don't know the exact date when this, was no longer in publication. I'm guessing 10 years. So just work with me there, people. So the food value is excellent, smoked or fresh. And I totally concur with that. I have no problems with that. They make really nice steaks if you do them right. So let's talk about the game qualities. It's a strong but unpredictable fighter. Usually clicks off fairly long, fast runs and can fight deep and great stamina. However, many individuals put on lackluster fights if not pressured too hard, saving their best efforts for after they are boated. Yeah, they're definitely known to be very, it's like, that old saying, a fish out of water, it's going to flop around and be aggressive. And generally, if they're going to be kind of big, so, you got to be careful. It's not like having a sailfish or anything in your boat, but they're definitely going to still have a lot of gusto to them. So let's talk about the tackle and baits. Surf tackle is the best bet for pier fishing and for boat fishing with long cast. Heavy lures are called for. Since cobia are notorious for wrapping lines around buoys and wreck structures, most anglers use 30-pound test line or heavier. Once clear of obstructions, however, even large cobia can be successfully fought with spinning, bait casting, and fly tackle, although a minimum of 10-pound line or tippet is advised. When gaffed, they're saying green, not tired when they're energized. Basically, what they're saying. Cobia can and often do smash up the inside of the boat. We just talked about that. Jigs and large streamer flies are most used artificials. Let me repeat that one more time. Jigs and large streamer flies are most used artificials. Spoons and swimming plugs often work well. You might wake them up with a surface plug, popper, or tube lure. Live bait fish such as pinfish, mullets, cigar minnows, grunts, and jacks work best, but live shrimp, crabs, dead fish, or squid are good too. So my experience working in the fishing industry down here for like 20 years is they definitely love the tube worms. Any type of long, like an eel, something like that. It's about 18, 24 inches long, whatever, with a couple hooks in it, works really well. I sell some right now, and but that tube worms do work really well. But there's a lot of different things. I know a lot of guys like to use the live crabs, and there's different things you can use. It's not saying they're always going to hit the same thing, but that's what's known to work very well, at least on the Gulf Coast anyway. So the fishing systems, it would be still fishing, casting, trolling, and drifting. So now we're going to talk about some of the other names that they go by. Ling, crab eater, lemon fish, and bacalao. I don't know if I pronounced that correctly, but that's interesting. It's funny, I grew up north and I always heard of like ling cod. So when I see the word ling here, it makes me wonder if like ling cod and cobia are the same thing, or I don't know. I was young when that was all happening. But they're definitely crab eaters. I never knew, I've always just known them as cobia, but let's move on and talk about the range. The range for cobia, all Florida coast, widespread throughout the Bahamas and Caribbean, although seldom plentiful. Habitat, all the way from shallow inshore waters to the deep sea. Most Florida cobia winter in the southern reaches of the state or offshore, migrating northward in the spring to cover both the coasts. Dramatic runs occur along the panhandle beaches in April. Cobia love to hang around navigational markers, wrecks, and artificial reefs, where they swim both at the surface and down deep. They also escort wandering mantas and other large rays, and many are caught around those hosts. Juveniles are frequently caught incidentally by trout fishermen over many Gulf Coast grass flats, and some big ones too. So that's pretty much it. The cobia fish is definitely a nice fish. When you're keeping something that's like 33 inches long, and they're not just narrow, they're kind of wide from top to bottom. So you're going to get a pretty decent yield if you're going to harvest this fish. It's a great fish to catch. It's one, everybody wants, to cross off on their bucket list. So I hope this helped you. This was another episode of Fish Talk by Jailbait and Tackle Outdoors. Remember, folks, always know your legal limits. Peace out.